Welcome to Tammy Nation. Let's go.
From 9 to 5, been biting my tongue for all this time. Won't let anyone cut me short. I was thinking this was the way to go, and you put up your puppet show. I say cheers to life. No, I'll be no good man. Just leave me alone. I'm running the show. I'm telling you, it's my time to rise up. Live the life I'm proud of. No, you better go home.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Tammy Nation. It's August 31st, Thursday afternoon, evening, depending on where you're at. And I have a precinct meeting that I have to attend in a little bit, but I was very amused by some of the things that are going on out there. So I decided to come on before I went to my meeting and share some information with you guys like I like to do. So in the meantime, I hope you all are having a great Thursday. I hope you have a great week and it's winding down for you heading into the weekend. I know I'm excited for the weekend. I don't have to work this weekend. So I'm looking forward to just having some downtime and just enjoying it. You know, we're supposed to have a really good weather this weekend. Monday's Memorial Day. I do have to work, or Labor Day, is it? I do have to work on Monday. So I'm going to enjoy Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I hope you guys do too. So as we start this little adventure this evening, the first thing I wanted to do was talk about some numbers with Mr. T taking over social media. DC Inquirer posted out some information regarding this, and they're saying that as of Wednesday, Donald J. Trump posted 31 videos on his social media platform and has amassed over 42 million views. They say that as of Thursday morning, this morning, Trump's videos received 42,300,000 views across Instagram, X, and Truth Social. That Trump's personal Instagram page posted 28 videos and received over 25.9 million views. And the Instagram page, Team Trump, posted 2 of Trump's videos and received over 101,500 views. And it says, meanwhile, his campaign X page at Trump War Room posted 12 videos and received over 1.2 million views. And then Team Trump on X, his campaign page on X, posted 13 videos and received over $3.7 million or 3.7 million views. And it says the Republican frontrunner actually posted 31 videos on his Truth Social page, and it received over 460,000 likes. So using all these formulas, Trump's 31 videos on Truth Social received over 11.5 million views. So that's pretty substantial. Hey, Sharon, it's good to see you. So what is that telling you guys? I don't think that Biden's the platforms that he's on, he's actually not even on TV half the time. Hey, Chris, half the time he's at the beach, which is hence the title of my show, this little quickie show that I'm doing. You know, so we have to garner and we have to pay attention not only what's going on with the numbers, because the numbers on these different social platforms and views kind of tell you where the country is paying attention, who they're paying attention to, what they agree with and what they don't agree with per se. So Mr. Biden, I didn't even venture into his numbers. I know that they're very low. However, they're nothing compared to this. And I just thought that it was pretty amazing that, you know, when Mr. T had his show on the networks, you know, he smoked the networks as well, any other shows that went against him. And facing everything that he's facing, which we're well aware of. Hey, Cindy, it's good to see you. It's been a long time, honey. With everything that he's facing, all these indictments, his mugshot and everything, it looks like to me, he's turning the bad into good. And that's the way to flip it. Also, Trump's made many statements today on Truth Social and on Facebook. All these different statements. I mean, he's pounding them out left and right. I can't even keep up with all of them. But one of the statements that he made today that garnered my attention was regarding the coming, supposedly impending set of new closures that the wacky tobacco people are kind of trying to put out there that we've heard rumors of, the rumors. There is paperwork, however, out there that I talked about the other day that you can look into, and they are trying to do another closure. I'm just trying to be careful of my words. As we know, we have to be careful. But in this statement, I love this statement. If you haven't seen it yet, he said the words, "We do not comply." And hearing that from him was pretty amazing. That he said, when it comes down to them trying to force any kind of closures, any kinds of jabs, any kind of face covering mandates, that we will not tolerate it, do not comply. And he went on to talk about once he becomes president, that, what he would do with the schools and stuff. So I thought that was pretty interesting and strong that he would come out and say the things that all of us have been saying on and off, right? Because usually politicians or people running for offices or whoever it is in Congress and everything, we've been disappointed in the lack of veracity and fierceness that these people have had in not standing up for us as a people, as we the people and representatives. So when he said that today in this statement, and he's standing there nice and strong, I thought that's a leader right there. And Biden's at the beach. There's all this stuff going on, and Biden's at the beach. So the other thing that happened today, so you can go through the social medias, and if you haven't been able to run through all Trump's statements today, it's just boom, 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 boom. They're worth your time and they're worth your effort to look through them. And like I said, you can say, oh, people love Trump and they shouldn't love Trump, and, we're a cult or whatever they want to say, the bad things you want to say. But there's a man that's standing up and vocalizing for this country, for the people. And I'll say it a million times, when you've got Biden at the beach and you've got these other people that are not standing out, these people that are running, that want to get elected, nobody's out there being forceful and fierce like he is. And, it's getting to be close to the time, we've had the first GOPs, and a lot of them fell flat on the GOP, the first set of debates. So you would think that they would learn from it, and just, if they want to really become the next president or have a chance at it, they would be out there standing for what they believe in, being loud about it, being outgoing and outspoken about it. Because if they can't tell us, the people that they're supposed to represent, how they feel and what their standards are and who they what policies that they are going to enforce and be strong and make you believe in them, if they can't do it to us to get in the office, what makes you think they're going to be able to stand up with anybody in the other world leaders? They're not going to have any standard, any respectability, any strength to be able to go at them if they can't convince us, and we're supposedly on their side. So that's just another point that I like to, as I back away, I keep saying I back away that lens. I zoom out and I zoom in. I try to see on the bigger scale. It's not about liking one person or the next person. It's about where's their heart? Where's their mind? Where are their policies? Who are they standing up for in this country? Or are they not standing up in this country? For this country. So that's where I stand in that. Somebody has to really convince me, because this country has tanked 100%. And Mr. T still is he's the front runner. He's going for it. He's still out there boldly speaking for us. Hey, Rokabit J, it's very good to see you. Hey, Cindy, you know what? Vivek, I've been doing some research on him. Yes, he is. You're exactly right on that, because he's got ties to some shady people and shady pharmaceutical places. And, like I said, you got to do deep dives. And I think that it was actually Major General Flynn was saying not that long ago, I think he just came out probably 3 days ago. And he was saying, listen, it doesn't matter if you like somebody or not like somebody. What you got to do is you got to take a deep dive on all these people, each and every person, locally, nationally, and across the board. He said, don't be won over by just their appearance or what they say. You have to do the deep dive into these people. And I respect him for saying that. And I believe that's really true, because I'm not sure who to trust anymore. You at one point through all these adventures, the last 2 or 3 years, it got down to where everybody was shady, and the only person you could trust, which is God, of course, always God, but it was God and Trump. And you know what? The thing is, God knows all, sees all. Of course, that goes out without saying. He's the first go-to person, right? He's got control over everything, but he's going to let us have free will and do as we will. Okay. So Trump, he promotes God. Yes. He tries to open our eyes and everything else. He's proven himself. That's the difference with these new people coming in. I don't think any of them have proved themselves. And you take somebody like Pence, who's been in forever. There's nothing outstanding or great about him either. So yes, go to God first, of course, but I can't believe that it's only God and Trump. There are a lot of good people out there that I believe are fighting a good fight. And I don't believe everybody is either black or white or gray area. I do believe there's a lot of masks being worn, yes, and I believe that there are people that are one way and acting another way. But the thing is, it is up to us to take that deep dive and try to get emotions out of it, because we all want the same thing. We all want the same thing, right? This country back, the freedom of speech, the freedom of decision, the freedom of having honest and fair elections and everything else. So what we have to do is just pull back, take that deep dive into each individual person, and then go from there. And, just anymore, just saying, hey, I love Trump or I hate Trump isn't good enough. You have to have the facts to back it. Why do you back this person? Why do you not like this person? Biden still to this day hasn't come out with much good of anything. I mean, here he is at the beach. I can't get over that he's at the beach. Why all heck's breaking loose? It seems like you people watching and listening, and me and Trump and a few others, are the only ones paying attention or seem to care about what's going on with the hurricanes, with the fires. Let's not forget about that. And he's on the beach, just taking it easy. What kind of representation and leadership is that? It's ridiculous. So let's get back to this with Trump. Trump also pled not guilty today, you guys. If you didn't hear about that, there's an article that came out in Just the News. He is not guilty. He says not guilty. He's pleading in the Georgia election case after waiving his arraignment. He said so Thursday he pleaded not guilty to 13 felony charges related to his alleged attempt to, we know what the grievances are against him here in Fulton County, Georgia. So Trump was scheduled to be arraigned here in Georgia on September 6th alongside 18 co-defendants on charges under the state's Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations, RICO, which to me, I still can't get over the RICO Act. He's not a mobster. But anyhow, so he waived it, not guilty plea. He filed it Thursday. He's got a new attorney, Steve Sato. And several co-defendants of his also already waived their arraignments and pled not guilty as well. So that's what happened today with Trump. Also, hey, good evening, Sharon Whitmore. It's good to see you too. I like when both the Sharons are in here. So if you guys didn't see this yet or not either, Mr. T, I talked the show yesterday, I think it was, about all the merchandise that he sold with his mugshot, the legendary mugshot. So if you guys haven't seen, there is a trading card out there, and it's got his famous mugshot on it. And it is on the front of it, it says most famous mugshot in history, August 24th of 2023. And it's got Trump's mugshot on there, and it says never surrender above his head. And it says Donald Trump, United States of America. So he's got that card out. And on the back of this trading card, it says first ever United States presidential mugshot, the most iconic image of the 21st century. This card showcases the most iconic image of the 21st century, the first ever United States presidential mugshot taken at the Fulton County Jail in Atlanta, Georgia on August 24th, 2023. The historic photograph captures the 45th president during a pivotal moment in his life. It serves as a passionate reminder of the legal challenges he confronted, voluntarily surrendering to authorities in response to a state indictment on racketeering and related charges. This trading card immortalizes a truly unique and unforgettable chapter in American political history. So I found that pretty interesting that came out. So it is a trading card with a mugshot on it. But, to be a little bit cheeky and to be a little interesting, I'm going to ask you guys, is this the Trump card we've been waiting for? Do you remember hearing about the Trump card? And like I said yesterday, I'm really not the conspiracy type, but I thought that was pretty interesting that he came out with a Trump card. I just think it's very interesting. And I'll just leave that there. It kind of made me laugh, actually. The other thing that I found was interesting that came out today was Malik Obama. So it's former President Barack Obama's big brother. He sent out a Twitter today, or an X, to Tucker Carlson. So Barack Obama's big brother, Malik, reached out to Tucker Carlson and said, I believe it's time we talked. And he had talked in capital letters. And then he said in capital letters beneath that to Tucker in this tweet, he said, a lot the American people need to know. So why is he coming out now? You may say, maybe if he would have come out before, and he has tried to say things before, and I think that it kind of got swept under the rug, or people paid attention to it for a little bit of time of what he had to say about his brother, and they thought it was just bad blood, because so many times people turn those kind of things into just a bad blood situations. So it seems Tucker Carlson is the hot potato these days because he's pulling in massive amount of numbers. He pretty much sank Fox numbers with the interview that was pre-recorded with Trump during the GOP debate night as well. So you've got Trump out there that are just smashing numbers like crazy on social media. You've got Tucker doing the same thing. So there are many other people out there, of course, that are putting information out there and that are newsworthy sites, newsworthy, things like that. But I'm saying Trump and Tucker seem like a wonderful combination. They're just knocking it out of the ballpark. And to me, that tells me, once again, with those kind of numbers, that's a lot of people that are seeking information from them. They're watching, whether it be haters or not, they're still watching. And there's nobody else that's pulling those kind of numbers in. You look at CNN and all these other news sites, and they're just tanking. So that, to me, gives you a bit of a feel and temperament of the country. And maybe they're just kind of, people are just getting fed up and their eyes are getting opened a little bit. And really, that's a win-win situation for us because, it's all about the truth. It's all about fairness. And it's all about no more sliding stuff under the rug. It is about the dark coming to the light. You can only lie, cheat, and steal for so long before you're going to get busted for it. And some of us may not see it. It happened to other people. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. But everybody has to pay the price. They have to pay the price when they do that, especially to the American people. And people also has to pay the prices for for the choices that they make. There are consequences to everything we say and do. And so if you cannot do the time, they say don't do the crime, right? So I just feel really fired up. I think, like I said, the whole thing kind of changed for me again and fired me up with the whole mugshot, because that is something that I never thought that we would see per se. But, that's how dirty and corrupt and crooked they are. So a lot of people are wising up to that. It's not making sense. I'm not saying people are going and switching from Biden or the left to the right. I think that the right has messed around a lot too. I believe that people are pulling back and just trying to make their own decisions and looking at, maybe we don't need left or right. Maybe we need to do something different. Break everything down and start over. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. The other thing that came out today was the House is opening an oversight probe into Biden handling of the Maui inferno. So this came out yesterday through American Wire. So it says the House Oversight Committee, the chair, James Comer, has announced plans to investigate President Joe Biden over his handling of the wildfires in Maui. The response by federal, state, and local officials to the catastrophe wildfire in Maui raises serious questions, and Americans, especially those impacted by this tragedy, deserve answers, he said in a statement released Tuesday to the Washington Examiner. This is James Comer's statement. As recovery efforts continue, the House Oversight Committee has a responsibility to ensure taxpayer dollars are being used efficiently and effectively. To minimize the risk of waste, fraud, and abuse of taxpayer dollars, the Oversight Committee will examine the federal government's response in Maui and work with other committees of jurisdiction to ensure accountability, he added. As previously reported, the president was on vacation when the wildfire first erupted, except instead of immediately returning to work, he waited 13 days before visiting Maui. Afterward, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy suggested an investigation may be necessary. I am very concerned about the response from the president. How could you lose that many Americans in today's age? I'm going to be working with committees to investigate what went on so this never happens again, he said last week. So the primary criticism Republicans have had of the president is his focus on funding Ukraine versus funding domestic needs. So I know people aren't too hip with McCartney. I understand that, but he is who he is. He's the one that's got to take it to task. We hope that happens. Marjorie Taylor Greene released a statement out and said FEMA is underfunded by $4 billion. Georgia Emergency Management Agency is only funded $1 per Georgian. Hawaii's Lahaina is in desperate need of help from devastating fire killing 50 plus people, and America is broke. Biden wants to send another $24 billion to Ukraine. No. So she's saying that it's underfunded. FEMA is by $4 billion. Yet Biden's wanting to send another $24 billion to Ukraine. Rep. Andy Biggs came out with a statement and said Joe Biden offered a one-time $700 payment for those affected by the devastating fires in Hawaii, and I reported on that. I thought that was such a huge insult. He said this came the same day the U.S. authorized $200 million more for Ukraine. So he said Biden cares more about funding Ukraine than providing relief for his own country. So did you guys know that the one-time offer of $700 for those affected in Maui, it came the same day as the U.S. Authorized $200 million to Ukraine? Is that not disgusting and disturbing? That's horrible. Jim Jordan came out and said President Biden completely ignored the people of East Palestine. Now he's giving the people of Maui the same treatment. So, even the Huffington Post came out. They're actually pro-Biden. They're on their site, but they admitted also that the Maui residents have certainly expressed frustration and anger at the pace of the local, state, and federal government's response to the disastrous fires. NBC News also came out and admitted that Biden's initial response to the Maui disaster was unsatisfactory. They said while Maui counted the lost and the dead on Sunday, President Joe Biden sat on a beach in Delaware, rode his bicycle, and said little about the deadliest wildfire to hit the U.S. in a century, the network reported earlier this month. Biden first delivered remarks last Thursday about the catastrophic fire in Hawaii. The next day, his son became the subject of a federal special counsel investigation. And since then, Biden has said virtually nothing in the media or to the media. So, that says a lot there as well. Another thing that happened in the Biden family, another thing that is being ignored by the president. And, when does he get held accountable? We know that all the other presidents prior, for the most part, had to be held accountable for their lack of action, their lack of clarity. How is he getting away with this? You have to ask yourself that. Who's allowing him to get away with this? Who is it exactly? Because I know we as the American people want to hear from him. We want to know what he has to say. And then you have the people when they try to question the press, tries to question the press secretary, and she ignores all the questions and she starts deferring people to other people, all the press. She's not answering either. You stop and look back at, Kayleigh McEnany and Sarah and some of these other press secretaries and what they had to put up and go through. And you compare that to what this lady has to go through now. There's no comparison. And you have to ask yourself why. Why is it that way? They're allowed to remain with non-answers and to redirect another command it. I mean, sometimes it's like the press secretary almost has a little hissy fit up there and says, I'm not doing this. I'm just not doing this. No, you are to do that. This is your job, right? This is your job to answer the questions that the press has for you. If not, why you even have an oppressor where they can ask questions at all? Because really, if I were her, I wouldn't even want to go to that podium because you look ridiculous by not answering anything and just standing there. It's basically you're going through the what do you call it? Just the rules and regulations of calling a presser, standing behind the podium, and the formalities of it all, and not answering any questions. And that needs to stop too. And the last little thing that I have today is from Just the News, you guys. It comes from Michigan. And this came out and it says Michigan police memos raised concern about possible nationwide voter registration fraud scheme. The local Michigan police and the state's attorney general discovered a high ratio of fraudulent voter registration applications, investigated election fraud by forgery, and referred the matter to the FBI. So through this article that came out yesterday, it says that Michigan authorities suspected there was a possible voter registration fraud scheme occurring across multiple states during the 2020. And they were concerned enough to bring it to the FBI. But according to police memos reviewed by Just the News, what happened since remains mostly a mystery. So it was turned over to the FBI. There were instances and occurrences that brought it to the FBI, but they're saying nothing's been happening. That according to dozens of pages of police reports from the Muskegon Police Department and Michigan State Police, a firm called GBI Strategies was under scrutiny as an organization central to alleged voter registration fraud in the 2020, which was first investigated by city and state authorities before the FBI took over. So the city and state authorities did investigate it. Then the FBI took it over. So contacts between local law enforcement and the FBI continued into 22, but there is no evidence about what happened after that in the memos that were obtained by Just the News through the Freedom of Information Act request. So this goes on and goes on. You can actually go there and read it at Just the News. But that's the whole point is this was in 2020, there was consideration and concern. All this was investigated and it was turned over to our great 3-letter agency. And there's nothing that's been happened since it. So that's when I say that so many times we think nothing's happening or we say there's nothing moving forward. And in reality, the people that are supposed to be doing something aren't. But this is the good news. The people that are investigating and trying to find follow-up are working hard to find out and get to the bottom of what is really going on or why isn't something going on that should be. Why are these investigations not being looked into? Why did everybody drop the ball that was supposed to take care of the ball and let us know what was coming out of this information? It's not even like these people that were supposed to investigate all this information and investigate these challenges that were presented to them came out and said, hey, we didn't find anything. We're just letting it go. Or, we've done our investigation and there's been nothing proven. They've just kind of just dropped the ball completely, 100%. Hey, Cam. So that's the good news that I want to bring, that, a lot of times it takes a while for the truth to come out, but the truth will come out, and there are a bunch of different avenues and papers and websites, news media sites that are doing the digging. And I think that that's wonderful. It's wonderful not to be able to keep up in the fact that there's good being done instead of us not being able to keep up because it's all bad and no good happening. There is a lot that's popping all over the place with different people on Truth Social, on X, on Facebook. Then you go to the social media platforms, Getter and all of those. You start seeing stuff on Rumble, and that's the good news. I know that a lot of this documentation is hard for people to go through when you've got 271 pages of documentation, or you've got, 700 pages of this and that. It's hard to spend all your time going through it. But if you at least skim through some of it to satisfy yourself and realize, you know what, this is real. What we've been being told was going on really is going on. We can't always just leave it up to the other people. We keep it active by paying attention and staying educated so we know what choices to make that's best for us and our families down the road when the decision time comes in. You can archive some of these papers and some of these documentation and these reports to refer to them later on, because a lot of this stuff is becoming revisited. And like I said, Just the News has all this stuff coming out lately. They've been a great source of information and updated information on stuff that we thought was long and gone and buried, or maybe stuff that we forgot about, and we thought, you know what, it's just not going to happen. Hey, Kathy Taylor, good to see you from Facebook, honey. Good to see you. So that's my good news. And actually, it's been a good time to look on all these different social medias, to look from the people directly who are involved and to see the documentation, to see what they're doing. I know Marjorie had a bad reputation here and there. She's done some shady stuff, people thought, involving stocks, and I know shady stuff with her personal relationships. But the bottom line is, if she's out in the forefront, at least bringing intention into everything that's going on, people learn. The thing is, people change, people grow, people need to be forgiven. Because if we just stymie everybody and say, you know what, they did that 20 years ago, I'm done with them, I'm not going to ever trust them again. We have a bunch of idle people, and nobody's perfect. And, who is absolutely perfect? Who has a completely clean record? Well, other than Mr. T, because obviously they haven't got him on anything yet that stuck. But what I'm saying is, we all make mistakes. We all change direction, and knowledge is power. So the more knowledge we get, the more information we get, the more power we have to make educated decisions and for the betterment of this country. And, the thing is that this Vivek guy, Vivek Ramaswamy, now I'll tell you what, he's a young one, and he was very impressive. And people that, say, okay, Donald's over and done with, we don't want Donald anymore. We want this guy because he's new, he's fresh, he's young, and he says all the right things. A lot of the things he said actually came from Donald. But the point is, you have to watch for the red flags. And I say some of the red flags are, and what we've learned, I think, as a country, is when people go from zero to all exposure all across platforms, and they're the new it guy or the new it woman, you have to ask yourself why haven't we heard some noise about these people climbing that ladder? How do you go from the bottom rung of the ladder to the top and become the next best thing? So that's why it's wise to do research and dig in on these people, dig into their past, dig into the choices they've made recently, because you know what, he's donated some money to some not so great organizations and stuff, if you look into it. So I've just begun the dig on him, but so far I'm not impressed. I was impressed with what he had to say that night, but like I said, read on GOP debate night, but I was not impressed with, like I said, the speed that he's becoming the new it guy at all. Cindy says Tulsi has walked away from the Dem Party and their craziness. She said she's independent and can affect more change away from these people. Yes. And that's the thing. God bless her for doing that. That's what I mean, you guys. If you stay to your truth and you stay in the fact that you want this to be a great country, we can all have difference of opinions on how we should do it. We're going to have a little bit, but that's where the debates come in. And that's where, if people are in their truth, that's all we ask. But when people wear a mask and they just say what they want to say or need to say because they just want to get that seat or that office, that's ridiculous. That's what's the point of even wasting time doing it? And then you've got all these donors that fund all the money into it. And to me, I don't think it should be that way. I don't think whoever has the most money wins. It should just be debates where people stand up there, they say, hey, this is my policy, this is what I'm going to do, and you dig into their records, and if somebody like Ramaswamy is really honest about what he wants to do for this country, I think now it's too early for him. He's not proven himself. Yeah, he's a great businessman, he's successful, he's a multimillionaire. I don't even know, he might be a billionaire, and he's a young guy, he's aggressive. That's kudos to you, dude. But are you ready to run the United States of America? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. And like I said, for me, at this point in time, yeah, exactly, Cindy. He attended Soros School. At this time, Mr. T's still it for me. Mr. T's still running strong, doing the right thing, putting out all this information. If any of these people that really wanted to become president of the United States, or if Biden really wanted to keep it, if he's going to be the forerunner on that side, shouldn't they all be campaigning now? Shouldn't they all be having policies out there, not at the beach? Shouldn't they be just really being aggressive and convincing you and I, the American people, that they're worthy of that office? Where's the respectability to that seat? Where is it? Or the White House in general? All respect to me for that office has tanked. We look at what happened this summer with the different people that they allowed on the White House lawn, the nakedness, the lewdness. It totally lost any kind of class and dignity. And we need to get that back. People can be who they want to be, but they don't have to be that way in front of the public, in front of children on the White House lawn in their nakedness. They don't have to parade along the streets in their nakedness. If you remember the whole nakedness thing, there were special little beaches and special little groups in private areas for those people that are nudists that want to do that. When did it become a free-for-all? So, we just need to get it back, in my opinion. And I know you guys agree too. I don't want my kids and grandkids growing up in the way the country is now, and the debauchery and the nastiness of it. And, you can say that, I'm a little too, stuffy. I'm a little too, I don't know, rigid. You can say that all you want, but I think that's far better off, and it's gotten us a lot further than the debauchery that's out there now, and the way things are tanking. And, it just goes on and on with the male, female in sports and bathrooms. And, it's just like it's a cesspool, and we just need to clean it up. And I think we can do it. Cindy says that Ramaswamy sold his biopharmaceutical company for $8 billion to Pfizer, and since paid millions to. Yeah, see, you know what? Cindy, I heard some of that too. I just didn't talk about it because I wasn't 100% sure. But see, you've heard that as well. So you ask yourself why. So it's $8 billion. The guy's got $8 billion. Well, more than $8 billion at that age. You got to ask yourself, what do you really want for this country, for your family? And most of us have kids. If not kids, we have grandkids, or we have nieces or nephews or siblings. And, the thing is, we all want the best for our family. We want to get back to life the way that we love, the freedom of choices, the freedom of being able to put gas in our car without breaking us and take family vacations, the freedom to eat what we want to eat and not have all this protein and all this, soy and all this just slammed down our throats, all this plant food, everything's plant-based. And I'm telling you what, I'm not knocking it. You guys want to do that? People can do that. But what I'm saying is, don't make us feel bad because we want to eat red meat. We want to eat. Don't do that to us. We have to get back to some balance in this country. And, I have faith that we're going to get there, because the people that I've talked to and I've seen, and the great people that are on here listening now or watching now, or that will watch later, that I've met the last few years on this social media, are great, strong, patriotic people that love this country. And it's pretty amazing. And that gives us the stamina to keep going to the end, because giving up is not a choice at all. And it never has been. You don't win by giving up. And we got to give that final push for this country, and just to stay alert and stay strong. So with that, I'm going to go, because I've got to head out to my meeting. You lovely people. Thank you so much for joining me and stopping in again. And I hope you have a great rest of your evening. And woo woo, we're one more day, work day. We're heading into that weekend. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend as well if I don't see you. Otherwise, thanks for joining me. Love you guys. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.